I'm excited. Let's jump into map number 2. This will be Toronto. This will be Push. This is the map that we actually saw back at BlizzCon. We all had a chance to play. It was awesome then. I'm excited to see some of the flanking characters. You can kind of get like an overhead view of the map now and see your tracers, your Genjis on this type of map.
Reaper is the one to watch for, I think.
Has Reaper been tearing it up?
Yeah. Really,
so
really
is this map the same as it was back at BlizzCon? Or has there been any alterations to it?
It's virtually the same.
Yeah.
When we had the map at BlizzCon, it was definitely a work in progress, and it's still a work in progress now, but we've had the opportunity to add additional polish and art resources into the map since then.
All the maps just look so good. I know I see Stylos' face when we do the fly through, and he's just like smiling, and he's just like so giddy, like it's so fun. Where I feel like Push is going to add a different type of element to the game that like Escort in Hybrid, like you mentioned, are like the payload oriented maps, and I think Push kind of plays like that a little bit. But there's so much more movement, I feel like, than both of those, and just you take so many different fights all over the map. And I also love the fact that you just can't really tie on this map. I think one of the things like about Assault is that you can, you have like these like long like battles, and then it's a draw, and you're just like, oh, I wanted to. I mean, I may maybe even be okay taking a loss there, but like this, you definitely get a winner.
Yeah, definitely. And I really like game modes where the actual objective and the mechanics help pace out the speed of gameplay, and it was really hard for us to do that with 2CP. You can have incredibly long matches in 2CP and sometimes like really quick blowouts, and it just came down to what the two teams were doing, and the game mode itself wasn't really doing anything to enforce that the way it might in Control or in Payload. And so with Push, we have more of that, to where the game mode is actually helping to control the length of the match and the pace of the match.
Yeah, as you see on the clock, it's a 8-minute clock right now. So yeah, it is pretty fast. I think it's definitely intended with some of these flankers in mind. As poor Lumpy gets taken out right off the rip. Lumpy was going on one of those flanks, didn't turn out so well. So does the bot unlock right away?
It takes about 30 seconds for it to unlock, and the reason we do that is we don't want a team to think that there's a certain amount of pressure, or to have all this pressure to get to it as quickly as possible. We want you to be able to be strategic with the way that you approach the bot in the middle of the map, and it's very similar to the way that Control works.
So we can see the robot. He's got a name, right?
Yeah, his name is TWO.
That's good. We see some Genji play in action. You see like all the buildings you can kind of come from, players up above to the side. I think you can definitely see that like fast paced. It looks way more like you can, as a DPS player, just kind of go off to the side, make a play, try and make a. You see here they're going right for the supports.
Yep. Yeah, and the map, there's still a main path in Push, and it's really important for us to have that in all of our map types. But there are a lot of ways to get around that and to get through it, and that's what creates a lot of these opportunities.
Going for the remake kill. Can't blame him.
Yeah.
I'm watching this. Yeah, I'm here. I'm fixated on the gameplay. I think, this looks really deathmatchy. This does. Like, we're just, they're just going in, they're having a good old brawl, and then obviously as the mech or the point is moving through the map, it's changing up every single time, and it's just, to be honest, it looks fairly similar to what I played back at BlizzCon all those years ago. Just with one less tank. It's just but it's just more space, I think, to operate. Yeah.
Like I'm somebody who I play a ton of DPS, like, and I'm excited that maybe not everybody will run around in like a death ball, and I'll be able to kind of like play Tracer and go off to the side and make a play. I noticed too, the green health over Lucio here.
Oh, yeah.
What is that on the UI now?
I actually completely forgot about that. There's so many changes.
I was like, sound barrier doesn't give green health when I do it.
Right. So that's something we're changing up. Like everything's work in progress. It's possible to change, although we're pretty happy with it right now. This is a change to what we kind of call overhealth. This is like a larger system, which is, in Overwatch 1 you can have over armor and over shields, depending on who's giving it to you, much like you can have normal health and shields and armor. So, once we started getting into trying to create clarity and make sure the game's very readable in all these senses, like you mentioned with Zenyatta's UI and everything, that came up too, is like, it's possible to get, especially you get into like PvE talents and stuff like that, your health bar can get really colorful really fast. Like, you could have health and then armor and then shields and then over health, armor and shields, and you could literally have 6 segmented colored health, and it was like, I can't even understand what I'm looking at right now. This is like so insane. So we ended up condensing all of the over health concepts into just one concept now, and so it was kind of interesting. Other than Summer's EMP, over shields was more of a thematic thing than anything, because it didn't regen like normal shields, because it's over health doesn't have a regeneration value. So it was kind of nonsense anyway, honestly. So now we kind of have everything condensed into green health, and it's very understandable that you see somebody with green and you can see like, okay, that's not, that's over health, it's either going to drain, or if I shoot through it, they can't be healed and stuff like that. So it kind of helps clarify all that.
Port 2's getting a workout going back and forth, but I noticed before there was like a circle. So is there like kind of capture points, like progress? Does that change the respawns at all? How does that work on push?
Yeah, it does. So the robot starts in the middle of the map, and it pushes those those red barricades in front of it, and you can use those to kind of like in world see what your high watermark is. And if the robot's able to push it to the checkpoint, it will unlock a forward spawn room for the team that was able to do it. You can kind of see it just off to the left here behind Reinhardt. So if the attacking team can push it over there, they'll unlock that spawn point, and it gives them a big advantage in order to kind of push through the rest of the map.
And then I assume when 2 starts moving the other direction, I guess if he decides to start moving the other direction, they would lose that forward spawn, right?
Yeah, but there is Yep, there is an additional detail there. It's TWO has to be pushed back to the middle of the map before you lose your forward spawn room. And we actually started it the way that you described it, but a lot of times the robot could just move back and forth across this one checkpoint, and it got like really chaotic, and you'd have no idea where you were going to spawn. So we kind of gave you a grace period in there, or made it a little bit stickier by forcing him to return to the middle.
Yeah, that's a good call. I can imagine if that was the case now, yeah, you would have, like, if I spawned this 1 second, I would spawn close, and then, like, Stylosis spawns the next second, and he's far away.
Yep. And I mean, that happens in Overwatch, but it was way too blatant.
This
with
double
that.
bubble Zarya is sick.
She is incredible. I love her.
It's actually a pretty recent thing we checked it in, but it's pretty new.
Is her damage ramped up when she's charged? Like more so than yeah.
So you have the same bubbles you had before, but they're both using shared charges. So yeah, we found that because this increased flexibility in how you use it, she tends to be at higher charge more often. I mean, this is a good example, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's actually even a lot of playtests. I can find myself like, sending a message to people. What was your average energy? Would you say? Or how often? It's like, you were kind of tearing it up. That seems a little insane. So, balancing TBD, but
it looks so fun though. I mean, as somebody who loves to play Zarya, like, I also can imagine the people that I would play with on Zarya would just automatically double bubble themselves and everybody else.
Actually, for themselves. Like, let's just run in and double bubble ourselves. But then you start to think like, actually, if I save 2 and Genji pulls out his blade on my team, I think if I double shield him and I save that up, that's going to be kind of ridiculous.
I didn't even think of that. Like, not just applying the 2 bubbles to yourself, but you could, because they share the charge, you could theoretically like bubble a Genji blade and then bubble him again, right?
Yeah.
Or a Pharah ult.
Oh yeah.
Works really well.
So many different ways.
Yeah, so this is like as it just kind of recently put in, coming off the back of the April 1st stuff and seeing how we feel about it, and it's been pretty interesting. I'm certainly concerned about it in some cases, but it also leads to some really awesome play. So, kind of letting it rock for a while and see how it feels.
Work in progress, but
Yep.
I like the progress on that one. Design. so OT. How does the rule here work? I guess do they have to push all the way to the end, or do they just have to beat the time of the blue team?
They just need to beat the time of the blue team. So the win condition for push is whoever has pushed it the furthest by the end of time wins, or if you're able to push it all the way to the end of the map, you'll win instantly. So now they're unlocking their forward spawn room right here.
Oh, the tragedy strikes for the blue team. Yeah, they need to stay near the robot, I believe, to keep pushing.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, right. And so you can have, the good old blunder where everybody walks off the objective and two just looks on sad.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, that's a problem.
Yeah, I imagine these games go right down to the wire.
I mean,
just as we
it's
saw
definitely hectic there towards the end. This is going to be quite good for Overwatch League, I'd imagine. This is... I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed watching that.